This episode is sponsored by dailygiving.org. Great organization gives out money on your behalf. Doesn't seem like a lot. It's $1 a day, but it is. It adds up. Give someone else the gift of having someone give out charity on their behalf. Check out dailygiving.org. Give the gift of a month or a week of someone giving charity on someone else's behalf. Can you imagine? Dailygiving.org, dailygiving.org. So we're sitting still in the period of time called the HaOmer. And during this period of time, we have interesting customs. We have a rule that we exhibit signs of mourning during this period of time. As you can tell from my beard, right? But people don't shave. We don't go to celebrations, listen to live music. There's a lot that goes on for a period of time during Sefiras HaOmer. And the question is why? And the answer is that during this period of time, there were 24,000 students that were the students of the great Rabbi Akiva. And they started to pass away. There was a plague that broke out. And within this period of time, all the students died. And I one time was telling this to somebody, and they asked me, wait, time out. Everybody's walking around in mourning for this bunch of students they'd never heard of a long time ago? Well, this is Jewish people. 6 million people just died. I mean, we've had a history of ups and downs over here. What, these 24 students that nobody ever heard of? For these kids, everybody's doing the mourning, but what about for the rest of our history? Why do we do this for? Why do we change what we're doing for these specific students and nobody else? So I one time heard this quote by a NFL coach. He said, players that mourn their losses are players that know that they're winners. Listen to that quote. If you lose a game by 20 points, you know you were meant to lose. If you lose a game by 1 point, you never forget it because you should have won. The players that mourn their losses know that deep down they should have been winners. And when this coach was saying when he sees players mourning, remembering a loss, he knows that they're planning and they're growing and they're going to win one day. Why do we mourn these 24,000 students? The answer is it's not about the students. We mourn a moment that we lost. The period of time that we are engaged in right now, that we're remembering, was a period of time that took place after the Second Temple. The greatest rabbi at the time, a rabbi named Rabbi Akiva, was mounting a revolt against the Romans to reclaim Israel, Judaism, and the temple, potentially the third temple. And he had a general named Bar Kokhba and an army. And he had students, the physical force, the spiritual force, and the leader, the greatest man of the generation. Everything looked like it was ready to go. The arms, the soul, the leader. And just when we were beating the Romans and pushing them out of Israel, a plague broke out amongst the students. They hadn't treated each other with a certain level of respect at their level. There was a crack in the foundation. And as a result, the spiritual armor was exposed. And the students began to pass away. And as the spiritual armor became exposed, the physical side became exposed. And soon Bar Kokhba was killed and the Jews lost. And this moment that we had was gone. That resulted in one of the greatest tragedies in Jewish history, the death toll higher even than the destruction of the Second Temple. We're not mourning just the loss of 24,000 people, as valuable as they are. We're mourning the chance that we almost got back. We almost had the temple. We almost had it all. We had everything lined up. We had the worlds come together. We almost touched redemption. And every year God sends us back and says, no, you got to do stuff. And we go, why? And he says, because I want you to remember that when you mourn a loss, it means that you believe you can win. I want you to remember, God says, that you can bring the redemption. You can connect the spiritual and the physical. You can act in a way that could be part of the solution. Everyone is part of the potential of what the Jewish people could be. And until you see that third temple, we're not there yet. And we can get super close. And we've never been closer. We've never been closer than we are right now. But we're not there yet. And so every year during this period of time, we do these customs because God is reminding us, strive higher, think bigger. You're part of something. Your actions matter. Everything you do, each and every one of us, is part of the larger tapestry of the Jewish people that is either moving us further or closer to the rebuilding of the third temple, the crowning God King of the world. And during this period of time in particular, which is really, this is the last week till next week when it all changes. But during this period of time in particular, we remember that although it may be a little uncomfortable, whether you keep the customs or you don't keep the customs, everybody, we're all going through this together. And remember that we remember this period of time and we honor this period of time, not because we like mourning, because God wants us always to have our sights on greater and greater victories.